It's race day here for the In the Pits News Truck Series as we head to the last great Coliseum, where we'll have these gladiators and Tyler Watermolen duke it out here to see who can come out on top and win the Spoiler Diecast 200 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. This is race number 2 of the chase. We're getting ready to kick things off into high gear here. I'm Dawson Allen. As always, joining me in the booth, it's Adam Kuhn and Jonathan Canfield. Had to think for a second. I almost said Josh Coppernall. But Adam, Jonathan, welcome to the booth. Welcome to another great race.
Yeah, evening, Dawson. We're ready to watch Josh doing some laps here tonight and contest with these guys at Bristol. And it's going to be a show. He's going to be among the chasers on the track tonight. And it's going to be very chaotic with a bunch of series regulars here not competing for a championship on tight racetrack. And a lot of mistakes can be made and can really mess up someone racing for a much bigger prize here tonight, Jonathan.
Absolutely. I mean, what a race to have in the middle of a playoff, race number 2 of a playoff at that. But you know, I've been in plenty of Bristol races. I've watched plenty of them. You get the clean and green Bristol race, and then you get the chaotic and hectic Bristol race. So we're gonna see what we're gonna get here tonight. We could see the tale of both, honestly. 200 laps here tonight. You could get some chaos, maybe in the beginning, maybe right at the end, and a green flag run to opposite that, or maybe we just end up with a fully green or a fully chaotic race. You never know with Bristol, but excited to see how these drivers handle it, and excited to see what our JCTV Copart can do with that 42 machine tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be hectic. Like Adam said, it's a very tight track. It's going to be hard to navigate for these playoff drivers. Speaking of the playoff drivers, let's take a look at your chase field here. As you can see, Jonathan Parker, your points leader still. Michael Kruger, 19 points back. Alex Khirfan with the win last week propels him to third in the standings, now down only 24 points at the tie with Justin Durand. David Durand right behind. Then it's Dalton Kelly, Alonso Chicano, our defending series champion. Then it's Ryan Bogey, Andrew Elias, and Matthew Stotts. Of course, bad races for the three of them have put them back behind the 8 ball pretty much, with 51 points being the gap for Bogey, 52 for Elias, and 59 for Stotts. They've got a deep hole they're going to have to climb out of.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with all the bonus points Jonathan Parker gained throughout the regular season. Michael Kruger as well. They just built such a big gap over everyone else in comparison, and Jonathan finishing second last week really didn't help anyone's case.
Yeah, but let's not take away from what we saw last week, too. We saw Alex Khirfan come through and basically run past our championship leader right now and set himself up for great momentum going into this race and into this chase. You know, taking the first race of the playoffs is no easy feat, especially when you beat the guy that's been dominant throughout this season in Jonathan Parker. And for those guys at the bottom of the list, too, as Dawson just read off, they're not exactly a full race out yet, but it's going to take some trouble for the guys up at the top of the board for them to be able to recover those points. But we've got plenty of races left this season. Excited to see how these drivers rebound from those bad runs last week, and also to see if Alex Khirfan carries any momentum from his win last week.
Yeah, able to get that win. It was a big gamble on strategy. Everybody was kind of shifting around how their pit stops went, where they went, when they came down, and we saw it at the end. You know, the driver that tried to stretch it out, I believe it was Chicano that tried to stretch it out, couldn't make it to the end. Parker was chasing him down, but in pursuit of him was Alex Khirfan, who was on fresher tires. He had a better strategy call than our current points leader, and he was able to beat him. One of the few times this season we've seen a driver best Jonathan Parker outright, you know, with a call. And so we saw that happen. It was very much exciting, and it was something that I look forward to seeing some more of here as this chase goes on. But with tonight, I think it'll be less strategy, more survival.
I can agree with that. Survival is going to be key here. This track is not necessarily hard to drive if you've been around iRacing for a while, but more necessarily hard to avoid the people who can't drive it, and also hard to avoid the guy that's on your outside if you're coming off the exit of the corner. It's a very close and small track, and you just never can predict what you're going to have happen here.
Yeah, absolutely. A crash can happen in turn 3, and you're going down the back straightaway and you just don't have any time to react. You're just going to drive right into it. We saw that happen last season really early on in the race. We had a big pileup I believe it was going into Turn 3 actually, and the whole track was blocked. No one had an out on the backstretch. It was really chaotic, and it's a big possibility tonight with a lot of practice laps being turned here in this race. A lot of guys are trying to prevent that, of course.
Yeah, and being with some of these drivers here in this practice, we've seen a lot of these guys have issues. I believe I'm looking to see just to make sure. Tyler Watermullen, 92 incidents. Brett Bennett, 92 incidents. Nathan Fuller, 80 incidents. 70 incident points for Andrew Elias, 54 for David Duran. I mean, a lot of these drivers are struggling big time in this practice session, to get clean laps strung together. But something I've always noticed with these kind of races, in the practice, it's always going to be cluster. You're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be hitting each other, leaning on each other, wrecking with each other, one another. It happens. But when it gets into the race, it tones down a lot more. It kind of cools off, and it becomes a nice and easy, smooth race, and it's a smooth transition into just a bunch of cars going at it. And I hope to see that tonight. That's what I'm anticipating, but I'm not going to hold out on that because I've been wrong before. So as we approach the 7-minute mark here in practice, you see Jonathan Parker top of the board. He ran a 14.786. Justin Duran, we're watching right now, your second fastest with a 14.822 as you see him pulling off to the side here. Of course, Justin Duran, as was mentioned, tied for third in the points right now, 24 points back of the champion. Looking to see if he can rebound and get some extra points. And maybe go on a run here these last 4 races.
Yeah, Justin was the Rookie of the Year last season, finished third in the championship, came really close there in the last race at Kansas, and he had a really great rally in the chase. You mentioned trying to do the same, of course, right now. Didn't get the best of results at Chicagoland last weekend, but it really didn't lose much. He's still right in the thick of it, and he's got a lot of momentum heading his way tonight after that win in Atlanta 2 weeks ago.
And I think there's a word we keep bringing up, guys, and I think it's important to talk about it. It's momentum. We keep talking about it. The drivers that have momentum, and we seem to see those drivers keep peaking themselves toward the front every week. Momentum is very real when you're in a series like this, where you're racing the same guys week after week after week, and you're battling for those points. Momentum is very real. So that's why I say I'm excited to see what the drivers like Justin Duran and Alex Khirfan and those guys do with the momentum they have built. And Jonathan Parker's just been building momentum throughout the season as he's dominated points, and we've seen what that's done for him. I think it's important to watch those guys that have momentum, but it's important to also note who is going to possibly take some momentum here tonight and finally start getting a break. And that's what I'm going to watch for, the driver that catches a break here tonight and builds some momentum for the rest of this chase.
And we're looking right now, Jonathan Parker, of course, the season to remember. 4 wins thus far in the season. A very dominant performance. Went on to win the regular season championship at Atlanta. Of course, didn't go on to win the race. He had it. He was leading on that final lap there until contact with Justin Duran in the corner sent him around and ultimately got Duran into victory lane. So there is no love lost between the two, I would say. Justin is not, I guess to say, very fond of Jonathan is the best way to put it. He is in that. What I like to say it's a rivalry that is based on improvement. Jonathan has bested Justin a couple times. Justin's not happy with it, and he's been working towards besting him. And that's what we're going to start seeing here. I'm hoping out of Justin is we'll see him start to get out of his own head and really shine. And that's something that I've really hope to see out of him because he has the utmost ability to go out here and win this championship. All it takes is him getting out of his own head. And that's something I think I want to see the most out of anybody in the field is I want to see Justin Duran succeed. And right now he is currently battling with Jonathan Parker, more so on the track and also in his own mind because Jonathan has been able to break through more than we've seen Justin do. Little deep dive there, but obviously that's something I want to talk about because they're currently the top 2 on the speed charts right now. And Justin has said that he's not good at these short tracks, but I beg to differ. I think that Justin has a very good shot at winning this race tonight.
Yeah, and quickly back to my point on Justin a moment ago at Chicago last week. I said he didn't get the best of results, and he really didn't earn a lot of points, but he still ended in the race in third. He just didn't get stage points to go his way to get back in that fight against Jonathan Parker in the points race here in these last 5 races. But third place result was good enough in the overall grand scheme of things, and he's going to try and once again carry that tonight. But mentioned trying to best Parker. He has once this season at Kentucky, trying to do it again. It's going to be a much different task here at Bristol compared to what we saw at Kentucky. That was a lot of high-speed racing with a lot of drafting going on, and this is going to be no drafting at all, and just, like you said earlier, a lot of survival to the end.
Looking at the other end of our points chase, though, a driver that I think might have a chance at a good night here if he just keeps the truck under him. Kind of seen him struggle here in practice, but he's pretty high up on the speed charts. Andrew Elias, he's actually ran a decent lap out here and looks like he might have some speed in that 44 truck tonight. So maybe this could be his night to really get some points and put himself really into this chase battle here.
Yeah, that right there, of course, the number 44 truck. You can see on the hood and on that back of that truck, usually the hood of the truck is just plain, and the back of the truck has got the Oregon Trail on it. Well, tonight he's got a little bit of a special scheme, running it for Alonzo Chicano, of course, his dog Marty on the hood. Marty was attacked by a couple dogs, had a couple issues. Alonzo's been keeping us updated, saying he's been recovering and everything seems to be going well. Had a successful surgery and everything, so obviously we wish the best of luck for Alonzo and his pet. But obviously Andrew running a truck here as a little nice touch, a show of sign of respect, I would say, for Alonzo. And there you see, as we're talking about something sentimental, of course that truck decides to wreck.
But no, I like the show of sportsmanship and everything that's coming from that 44 truck tonight with having that picture on his hood. We can't exactly say what the truck has on the back of it, but if you at home are reading it, you can read it. And like you said, we all fear for Alonzo and what he had to go through over the last week or so with his dog. I wouldn't want to be in that position. I'm sure nobody would want to be in that position. So he also is another one where he's right behind Andrew Elias on the speed chart, so he could also have a good run here tonight.
Something I'll point out before we get into qualifying is practice comes to a conclusion. Late entry into this race, Jason Gracias is here tonight. So that will definitely be an interesting show here with this one machine showing up to do some racing. But as the checkered flag falls, Jonathan Parker, Justin Rand, Dalton Kelly, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Michael Kruger are your top 5 in practice. Now, of course, airplane drivers throughout the field that are racing for a championship right now in the chase. We've got 10 of them. We've also got drivers that are not in the championship that are fighting for something as well. The Dash for Cash is something that we are doing with the non-playoff drivers to give them something to race for in the postseason. The way we're doing it is as follows. The next 3 races after tonight, and then the next 2 after that, which we'll go ahead and pull up the schedule so we can go over this with you in its entirety. So you can see right there, that's our remaining schedule for the season. So tonight at Bristol, then Homestead and Martinsville. The highest finishing non-playoff driver will score a cash prize. I believe it's $15 what we agreed on, I think, at this point. I could be wrong. We saw Zach Probst win it last week. But along with that, the highest finishing non-playoff driver that has not already won it before locks in to essentially what is a 4-car showdown at Kansas, where the winner of those 4, the best finisher of those 4, will walk away with $100 extra. Something cool we decided to put together here. Me and Alonzo have gotten together to get this done to try to give some people motivation to keep racing with us. And I think it's going to work wonders, and it's going to provide some great racing for everybody at home because all these drivers still have something to race for. Looking through the field, a lot of guys have already gotten both laps done. Top of the board right now is Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Jamie Wright is second. Nathan Fuller is third. And so while we're here, we're going to go ahead and show Brian Smith, driver of the 52. A lot of the music you're hearing in this broadcast, by the way, is produced by Brian Smith. He does a great job. Very, very, very happy with everything he does. And obviously the broadcast loves him for it too. Of course, that Smack Tonight scheme, he ran it at Darlington, debuted at Darlington, and he's been running it ever since. I would love if he would roll off pit road, so while I'm showcasing him, it would actually mean something, but if he wants to sit on pit road, that's fine too. So we'll go to somebody who's out there actually trying to qualify. This is Alex Khirfan, last week's winner. And of course, the track has to be a circle. Cannot be an actual track map. Alex Khirfan sets his second lap, 14.8584 actually. That puts him to second fastest on the boards right now. Looking to see who else might be running. It looks like Alonso Chicano is out on track, looking to start his first lap. So he'll roll it slow up top, then he'll gas it up and get it up to speed here. So this is his first official lap. Of course, our Season 2 champion been on a bit of a dry spell throughout this season. We've been wondering if he'd be able to recover, and hopefully he looks to do so tonight to get back on track to defending his title. This first lap is going to be a 15.126. Right now the slowest on track, but of course he'll see about dropping out of that bottom, seeing if he can set a faster lap. Running that bottom lane right there on the apron. He'll cross the start-finish line this time. It's going to be a 14.889. It's going to put him to fifth fastest for that number 25 machine. Watching Craig Fryer here come across the line sideways that time. A 14.979 puts him 11th fastest. And we cut back now to another playoff driver, Dalton Kelly, looking to complete his first timed lap. .15.18, of course, the second lap seems to always be the faster lap, so we'll see what Kelly can put down in that number 45 Circle B Diecast Wrigley Stats truck. Coming through 3 and 4. This time by it's going to be a 14.986, not as much an improvement. He'll go from 15th to 14th on that one, and it looks like nobody else is out on track right now. So that might do it for qualifying, but right now, Tristan Maher, fastest on track, 14.814. Then it's Ethan Fonseca Moreno, so two non-playoff drivers out front. Jonathan Parker, Alex Khirfan make up row 2. As we stand, Michael Kruger rounding out the top 5, and it looks like that might be it. It looks like nobody else is daring step on track here. So the intimidating Coliseum, the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway looms ahead as these drivers look to do battle in the Spoiler Diecast 200. As qualifying has now come to a close. Once all this sorts itself back out. So that big thing too is pole sitter gets a point. Something I have neglected to mention. The pole sitter does get awarded a point for winning the pole. And Tristan Maher won this pole. He got the pole, so that takes away an extra point from any of these playoff drivers.
Yeah, that bonus point has been very valuable all season long. So a non-chaser coming in and spoiling that away is going to be not huge, but it is going to be overall in the grand scheme of things going to play into this championship run here. And tons of bonus points left up for grabs tonight that can be taken away and not claimed by a championship eligible driver.
Well, as the field gets ready to grid, let's take a look at the starting lineup here, presented by Mardon Technologies. Tristan Maher, Ethan Fonseca Moreno make up row 1. The new 2 non-playoff drivers taking over the top spots. Jonathan Parker and Alex Khirfan make up row number 2. Then you see Michael Kruger and Jamie Wright in row 3. Row 4 sees Alonso Chicano and Justin Duran, and rounding out your top 10 is Nathan Fuller and Josh Arnold. Adam.
Fryer is going to start in that 11th position alongside Brett Bennett, with Zach Probst and Don Kelly sharing row 7. Danny Stefanski and David Durand are on row 8, with Jason Gracias starting on row 9.
Starting just behind him to his outside is going to be Brian Smith in that 52 truck. Next row back will be Andrew Elias, Tyler Watermullen to his outside, and rounding out the field tonight, JCTV's own Josh Coppernell in that 42 truck.
Josh Coppernell starting out back. The typical. Used to seeing that one. So as he goes to ride around out in the back, we've got a field of 21 strong, ready to go. One driver, Josh Coppernell, is going to have pit stalls on the opposite side of the field. Of course, with Bristol having only 20 stalls on either straightaway, that means that 20 drivers will have their pit stall on the front stretch pit road, and Josh will have his on the back stretch. Now, how does that play a factor? Well, that means Josh has the earliest pit stop, but it is the single pit road style. So pit road starts at the exit of turn 2, and you have to go all the way around till the exit to the entrance of turn 1 pretty much. So you've got to go the whole distance. So it will definitely play a factor tonight, I believe, seeing how this pit stops work. I think we might see Josh even miss his stall that first go around. It's very possible, I would say. But now as the field goes through, under pace laps, let's take a look at our picks to win. We'll start with you, Jonathan.
I'm going to go with somebody who has shown speed, but maybe not so much momentum. He's in the playoff fight here tonight. I'm taking the 14, Michael Kruger.
Well, I had my eye on him before this qualifying session, so it might seem like a low-hanging fruit right now, but he was 5th in that practice session. 69er Tristan Maher, he's racing for the Dash for Cash tonight.
You're going with Maher. I'm going to his outside. Ethan Fonseca Moreno has been phenomenal, and I don't think he stops tonight. I'm picking the 43 truck to win it all here tonight.
An important note here before we go green, I did see it in the little chatter. There was an EOL given to Jason Gracias, so Josh Coppernell is not alone as the green flag is out here.
Yeah, Gracias perhaps serving a penalty from a previous race that he ran. He's not run in a while. I wouldn't be shocked if he had to serve an EOL from a probably Dover, I would say. But right now, that doesn't matter. Green flag is out as we see Tristan Maher and Ethan Fonseca Moreno battling for the race lead. You see side by side is Michael Kruger already trying to march to the front. We saw him do that last season here at Bristol. This number 14 machine is on a mission to get to the front. And like I said last season, a late caution before the end of the stage. Michael Kruger was on a roll to get to the front, and he made it work, and right now he's looking to do the same thing tonight.
Another truck in trouble in the back. Khirfan, I don't think he gridded. He started on pit lane, and he's already 11 seconds behind the field, so he's got a tall task here in this opening stage to make up spots.
Going to be a long road for Craig Fryer as he currently sits just ahead of the field. Currently on the lead lap, but he's going to have to fight to stay there. We'll have to see what he can do. As you see the field already kind of getting single file all the way back to, I believe, that's Jamie Wright back here in the 00. Should be the 0, actually, for Jamie Wright. Of course, made his debut earlier this season, not too long ago. And he's had some pretty impressive performances as well. Running well at Chicago last week, running well at Atlanta as well, so we'll see what this 00 can do. Keep our eyes on him as this night progresses.
Yeah, was taken out in a wreck at Atlanta a couple weeks ago, running up inside the top 5, I believe, at the time, so settling in nice in 7th position early on.
I'm keeping my eyes on this battle between the 3rd to about 6th spot. Got about 4 trucks nose to tail, with the rear truck being Justin Duran. He keeps peeking to the outside here, trying to get a run on Alex Khirfan. Now he's got the run, and he takes the inside of Alex Khirfan. We'll see if he makes it stick. Alex Khirfan able to get the run off the corner and hold that spot.
Khirfan battling with Parker as well. Parker slid up in front of him, so now Khirfan diving to the bottom there, had to get out of it, almost got into the back of him. So these 4 drivers heating up for positions, but also too, Moreno was peaking for the lead there. Almost had the crossover set up on him, but couldn't quite do it. Maher ran away this time, so Ethan has to settle back into 2nd and get back after it. But right now, the top 3 kind of solid in what they're running right now. It's Maher, Moreno, and Kruger. Kruger, of course, and you see, oh, Justin Durand spinning! Nosing into the inside wall. The caution's going to fall for the first time tonight on lap 11, and it involves a playoff contender in Justin Durand.
Dawson, it looked like he just kind of slid off that fourth corner and it just lazy spun out. We'll have to go back and check the replay and see if there was any contact leading up to that. But luckily, it looks undamaged for the most part.
This is before the spin. This is the corner before, looking to see if there was any contact maybe, but it doesn't look like there was anything. Looks like that 5 truck just stepped out and right here locks it up and just bang, noses into the wall. So it doesn't look like a heavy incident, but it's definitely going to put him back in 21st right now. But something I want to point out, though, that's going to help. Craig Fryer does not have to suffer anymore as he's able to get away from the race leader and kind of set himself back up in the field.
Well, I mentioned top of the show, Justin Durand did not get any stage points last weekend at Chicagoland. Put him on the back foot in the terms of the points earned last week. He had a good result, but it just didn't really look at it when you look at the standings. Now he's going to be in a big hole to get bonus points here in the stage. Stage ends at lap 50, and only the top 8 trucks are getting bonuses there. And if he really needs to gain anything again, he needs to make quick work of it because he was in a good spot there before that spin.
Yeah, at the start of this race, he was sitting in a good position, obviously. 24 points back in striking distance, obviously, no matter what. But unfortunately, he is the first caution. And I hate to say it was cruel irony, too, because, you know, all throughout the start of this race, we hear a lot of drivers that are upset about, you know, the practice and everything. And I know Justin was very much not looking forward to this race. And one of the things I heard him say is he's going to get swept up in this first caution somehow, some way. And it's just it's a cruel irony that it wasn't him being swept up in something; it was him himself. But he's still got plenty of race to go. I mean, we're only 14 laps into this race here. As we see the choose cone happening, there's Maher to the top, Moreno and Kruger to the bottom. Parker, Khirfan, you see the field just kind of fanning through the choose zone as they go. There you see Brett Bennett, number 47 truck. Brought back the Intimidator scheme for the sole reason of it being Bristol. Looking to intimidate the competition tonight if he can. Of course, JCTV viewers saw last night the NAOR series. Bennett was running, wrecked out of the race lead. In a common Brett Bennett fashion, I should say too. Pace car's off. Maher, Moreno, front row, green flag back in the air. We're back underway here at Bristol.
Outside lane gets the better jump. We'll see if Moreno can hold off that 81 truck of Jonathan Parker as Maher jumps out to a huge lead. And Kruger looking back on the inside of Parker here. This could be a battle heating up.
Yeah, Kruger had that spot before the caution flew. Parker got the advantage on the choose on the restart too, and here comes Jamie Ray in the fight up to 5th.
So Michael Kruger in uncommon colors, that purple and brown. Western Carolina University. He said he wanted to run a little hometown, a little scheme in honor of his alma mater that he's at right now, attending Western Carolina. So very odd paint scheme, colors, I should say. But nonetheless, a cool idea to run. You see Alonso Chicano back here in the background trying to rip the top as best as he can. It's just not really paying off. As of right now, he's losing time to the guys ahead of him, and he's not really putting a gap between himself and what is 7th place Alex Khirfan.
Yeah, Alonso is one of our first drivers really running up by the wall right there. 6th in line, he just needs some clean air and finding any way around the track right now.
Battle heating up here for the 8th position. It's Brett Bennett and Josh Arnold right here, lined up nose to tail just about. And a little bit further back, you see Nathan Fuller, Daniel Saponsky, and another playoff driver here in the background, Dalton Kelly. Currently scored 12th right now. So Justin Durand not alone. David Durand is back in 17th. Elias is back in 20th. And you see Gracia's now making a move to the inside of Dalton Kelly. So A couple of these playoff drivers are really risking it, not up there being able to contend for stage points. It's in the notion, with 10 drivers and only 8 points paying out, 8 points positions paying out, someone's at least going to miss guaranteed. But, with it being at least 4 of these drivers, it's pretty big, especially for someone like Dalton Kelly, who really needs a benefit. Currently sitting 6th in the standings. Justin and David Duran 4th and 5th. So it's all about, getting that position up there and getting those points if they can, which right now it's not happening. I see a caution comes out. Looking back. Oh, Gracias gets turned. I wanted to say it was Tyler Watermolen. Indeed it was, but Jason Gracias spun on the front stretch in the midst of that as well. He's going to back it up. Khrifan's going to have to slam on the brakes. And with 2 incidents at the same time, the caution will fly. But I believe the caution for incident came out because of Tyler Watermolen. Oh, and it involves Justin and David Duran. And Craig Fryer was in it too. Well, Elias got a piece as well.
So did Josh Carpenter, a bunch of drivers in the back, but you mentioned the 4 playoff contenders running in the back of the field, all caught up in it.
I want to quickly see also what happened to Jason Gracias here. The caution flag flies. Oh, he got on the back bumper of Dalton Kelly and locked it up, just making sure he didn't spin into him. So that was just a case of trying to avoid. But right here, Watermolen comes up the track, hits Justin. David gets involved. Josh Copperno piling in. But we also saw Andrew Elias pile in. That's 2 weeks in a row now. Just nowhere to go. You see
I think Andrew Elias is going to have to tow here. Oh, Andrew Elias completely gone behind the wall.
Not at all what you want to see. Elias is just gone now. Looks like he has called it a night. And it's just devastating. 2 weeks in a row now. An accident, no fault of his own, just nowhere to go for that 44 truck.
That's been the summary of his season, unfortunately. So many times, especially at the start of the year, he would just be caught up in someone else's mess, either get wrecked directly by someone else just racing along, or like what we just saw, a crash in front of him, and he had nowhere to go. He's checking up, but the track's just blocked, like we talked about before, and even with all the trucks falling down the track, he had nowhere to go on the apron there. And see all the trucks on pit road with damage. Josh Copperno out and away after repairs to his, and Justin was undamaged there at the start after that first incident, but his 5 is battered now and a little worse for wear.
2 laps down now, still on pit road as the field makes it through. I believe they chose that time. I could be wrong. Let me double check and see. Indeed, they did. But 2 laps down now for Justin Duran. His night looks to be a longer one now with all this damage having to get worked on. Josh Coppernoll came off pit road. David Duran is still on track. Tyler Watermolen is on pit road, as is Justin Duran, though. So we got 2 drivers still on pit road. Getting able to prepare, of course, the 2 big names involved that are currently suffering the worst from it, I should say. Justin Duran and Andrew Elias, 2 of our playoff contenders, currently sitting on the outside looking in. Green flag is back in the air. It's Tristan Maher leading the field once again. Moreno chose the bottom. Parker to the top again. This time it looks like it might pay off. Moreno slips up, had to get off it a little bit to give the room to Parker. And look who's coming to the outside. Here comes Chicano.
Yeah, I mentioned Chicano running the top there on that last restart, and he stayed there and gaining a spot on Kruger and going for another on Ethan Moreno. And indeed he does in turn 1. Ethan's going to fight back in the center of the corner, though, but it's going to be no match for that 25.
This is the Alonso of old that we've been looking for this season. Finally starting to put something together here, and it's coming at the perfect time. You see now marching through the field, just picking them off one by one, all the way up to second now. This has been an incredible drive for these past couple laps, and now he looks to set his sights on the race leader, Tristan Maher. Looking back, Michael Kruger peeking to the inside, and Moreno couldn't quite get there. It's going to open the door for Jamie Wright to roll up on him. Going to try to roll the top lane here is the 14. Right to the bottom. Couldn't quite get there. Khirfan right there on his back bumper. Now going to make a move. Josh Arnold a little bit loose, a little bit sideways on the front stretch. He's going to get to the apron and back it down. Now Khirfan to the inside of Wright, seeing if he can go for this 6th position.
He would quickly spread out. See, Alonso went to the bottom as soon as Maher went to the top. A little bit ago, we mentioned Chicano had a rough week at Chicago, 14th last week, so he's way back in the standings in terms of the man he's racing right behind him for that championship. And Jonathan Parker to the bottom of the track, racing for second now.
Yeah, he was leading the race late, but the reason he was out front is because he was going long. He was trying to go yard from not pitting with 50-something laps. And, of course, he wasn't able to make it, wasn't able to stretch it, had to come to pit road. He was pretty much hoping for a caution that never came. And, of course, Parker benefited, and then after that, it was Khirfan who was able to take home the checkered flag from that race. And speaking of Khirfan, he is under fire now from Brett Bennett, and it looks like Daniel Saponsky and Dalton Kelly all in this mix now. A couple of these SBLD drivers now all around this 30 of Khirfan. He feels like he is in the middle of the bus as he currently battles. You see Saponsky not giving any room. A little bit of contact maybe there between Khirfan and Saponsky. You see Nate Fuller right there on the back bumper of Kelly. Gracias now to the inside of Kelly. He is making a march to the field once again.
Yeah, Khrifan's got to be careful. He knows what just happened with his teammate Justin Durand and David Durand, so he knows he's right on the cusp of racing non-playoff guys on either side of him in that last point spot. So he's gonna have to ride right here, and be careful in the last couple laps here of this stage.
And right now, of the top 8, half of them are playoff drivers. It's Chicano, Parker, Kruger, and Khirfan currently in position to score points. The only one that's able to gain anything on our current points leader, Parker, would be Chicano, who is currently 44 points back coming into this, which would be big, though, to gain those points. But he's going to try to look for a couple more as we hit the 10-lap to go mark here of the stage. Saponsky battling to the inside of Khirfan now. This is the final points-paying spot here in the stage. Saponsky going to try to clear him. Can't quite do it. Him and Khirfan still side by side now, heading back into turn 1.
Yeah, I think Saponsky went down there and tried making this move on the 30 quicker because he saw the one of Jason Gracias down there making time, made a lot of spots up, and there he is right on the bumper of the 51 now, trying to make it a 3-wide move, but that's no bueno here at Bristol, so he thought better of it. Right now, Brett Bennett getting checked up from Jamie Wright just ahead, and it's really stacking this whole group of trucks up little by little.
That's allowed Dalton Kelly now to be in contention for this final points-paying spot. Khirfan slides a little off the corner, and that's going to allow Kelly to roll the outside to try to get by him. And there's 2 drivers I'm interested in seeing together here. It's Daniel Saponsky and Jason Gracias, 2 very aggressive drivers right there next to each other. But I see Gracias just disappeared. In fact, he spun out. But somehow we have no caution. I don't know how. There it is now. The caution's going to fly, and that might well do it for the stage. What is... Oh, no! And just like that, Ethan Fonseca Moreno with a solid 3rd-place run is going to have damage by an idiotic move by Jason Gracias.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That's going to be very, very, it's going to ruin pretty much Ethan Fonseca Moreno's race. The front is killed, and he's going to have a hard time cooling off that one. That truck is going to be overheating a lot for the rest of this race, probably, on that 43.
Go back and see this big wad of trucks here. You saw he went to the top side. Saponsky went to hold it, and you see, just contact with Brian Smith and wound up getting him turned around, and Brian just pretty much finished him off there, it seems like. But right here, there's no caution, so Gracias rolls down the track to get out of the way, but then right here, he just pulls back up on track like no one else is coming, and nowhere for Moreno to go.
He almost drove right into Alonso Chicano, too. If Ethan wasn't there, I think he would have drove right in the door with the 25 and probably would have spun Alonso out. But the 43, heavily damaged here as he's exiting pit road now. Or on the middle of pit road now.
Yeah, entering pit road now. Hoo boy, that was something, to say the least. But right now we got pit stops underway. It looks like some of the drivers are going to take this. I believe They're going to claim, they're going to say that that was the stage. And yeah, I saw that. Chicano and Gracias with some contact. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they made the call that this would be the end of the stage. But that I cannot confirm. If it is indeed that is the end of the stage, which I would wager it is, it should be Maher, Chicano, Parker, Kruger, Wright, Kelly, Fuller, and Bennett. But I'm not too sure. That's still... Okay, so stage is over. Unofficially, though, I do not have the proper scoring for this. So that is something that will have to be determined elsewhere. I'm getting word from, of course, Cameron Caldwell, the GOAT, Cameron Caldwell, letting me know that that was the end of the stage. It's just one of those things. Want to make sure, of course, the caution coming out there does pretty much end it. Now, the issue is, though, I know who won the stage, but I do not know who is elsewhere to get points for the stage. But we do have a stage winner, and his name is Tristan Maher. So he will score the stage win tonight. And what I believe is his second stage win. The answer is yes. That is his second stage win of this season. Of course, his first coming when he won the Roval. And I want to point it out, when he won the stage of the Roval, he went on to win the race. So we'll see if Maher can go ahead and sweep this race as well. But at 69 Truck scoring the stage win. When we get official scoring, we'll let you know for the stage. But right now, it's Jonathan Parker and Michael Kruger making up row 1. So as the field lays in the hands of Jonathan Parker, he'll launch, and the green flag will fly. We're back racing here. 150 laps to go, negative 149 here at Bristol. Wright's trying to get up on Parker. Kruger wants to get up front. He wants to push as hard as he can to go for the race lead. Update to the field. Watermullen unofficially 21st. Elias unofficially going to be 20th. Justin Duran currently is 27 laps down, still on pit road. Josh Coppernell 12 laps down, is 18th on pit road. And Jason Gracias has currently scored as a lap down. I see someone stumbling through the field. Craig Fryer is dropping like a rock. Not sure if he had a mishap or if the car is struggling. But with all that damage, I can guarantee it ain't feeling good.
So Dawson, we have a little bit of a shake-up in the field right now as we see Michael Kruger get back around Jamie Wright into that second position. Caution is back out.
Caution back out, looking to see. It does look like it's going to be Craig Fryer. That truck is even more damaged than before, and I think that might put him out of his misery. So we'll go ahead and take a quick rewind. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! No, not just Fryer. It takes out Khirfan as well. See Brian Smith in the wall up top, but Khirfan just loses it, and nowhere for Fryer to go there.
And Fryer hit him big time there, and I think Jason Gracias has more damage on his one truck from that. He got right by his scooter though on the outside.
And just like that, another playoff driver with issues here tonight as the struggles continue for these chase drivers. And it's just something about these short tracks and these drivers coming in here with something to lose that really sorts the field. We saw it in Martinsville last season. We didn't really see it as much in Bristol last season as we're seeing it tonight, but we saw it a lot last season at Martinsville. And I'm starting to wonder if we're going to see that same thing tonight and again in a couple and we're going to see that again because I do believe we go back to Martinsville in 2 weeks' time. Indeed, we do. So that should be interesting.
Well, as I was saying, when that caution came out, the field got shaken up there under that caution a couple laps ago for the stage and Gracias' spin. I believe the leaders, Tristan Maher, Alonso Chicano, came down when pit road was closed. I saw the red light flashing, and obviously they're not at the front of the field. They restarted tail end, so it's going to be a tall task for them to make up those positions back, especially with all the chaos we just saw. going on in front of them, and they are going to be trying to make up those points, make up that spots in the middle of non-chasers, mixing it up with other chasers that we just saw, like Khirfan and Brian Smith there racing on track.
So we've seen a lot of interesting developments here as this race has continued, but we're trying to get. Looks like. Okay, so we don't have official results here for the stage. So they choose this time. I was going to say we'll try to see if we can talk to our stage winner, but we'll have to wait. If we get another caution, we can see about talking to him. I don't want to try to talk to him as the race is going on, but we shall see. I called Cameron Caldwell the GOAT. I no longer acknowledge him as the GOAT. He was unable to get me the results for the stage. So we'll run with it as we know right now is that Jonathan Parker, Alonso Chicano, Michael Kruger, and I believe at the end of it, it was Alex Khirfan. But it might have been Dalton Kelly that scored stage points. So one of those two scored stage points over the other. Not too sure. We'll have to go back at the end of the race. The green flag is back out. Jonathan Parker leads. Michael Kruger is second. And you see a stack up on the outside lane. I believe that is the 26th of Josh Arnold. Did not get going as well. That stacks up Tristan Maher, who has to dive to the inside quickly to get around him. Side by side for the lead, Michael Kruger, Jonathan Parker now. Kruger wants the top spot. As they continue to battle, if Kruger led that lap, indeed he did. That's going to be a bonus point that's going to go in his favor for this hunt for the championship.
It was a very impressive restart right there, able to keep up with this 81 truck, and they're driving away from the pack a little bit, even despite this. Dalton Kelly getting around Jamie right for that third spot. He is clear of him and making headway on these two.
How about Dalton Kelly getting up here in the mix now? Of course, Dalton Kelly scored his only career win at Martinsville last season, so looking to see if he can go ahead and knock out another short track win tonight. Beating and banging is what we saw last season at Martinsville, and that's what we've kind of seen tonight, so that could be the story that leads to that 45 truck in victory lane. Kruger is sending it into the corners, trying to get up there with that number 81 truck, but just can't quite do it this time. He's slowly drifting back a little bit now as he continues on right on the back bumper, of Jonathan Parker. Contact back here between Daniel Saponsky and Zach Probst off the corner. Looks like Saponsky got loose off the top and just made slight contact with the 62 of Zach Probst. But they continue to battle ahead of Tristan Maher, who's trying to get around them as fast as he can. Oh, and Probst sliding almost sideways there. Gets out of it, gets it on the apron, backing it off, letting the field go by. And as he gets it back going, he's going to drop all the way back to his now 15th place. As you see, 17th place, Ethan Fonseca Moreno was just rolling off of pit road. Of course, the damage has pretty much been insurmountable for that number 43 after the incident with Gracias. So far, the only two drivers out of the race, Watermolen and Willias.
And as they continue to run, I have actually caught up with a driver from the Infield Care Center. Mr. Josh Coppernoll himself has joined us here from the Infield Care Center. Josh, can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, that one wreck there. I don't remember exactly what happened, who spun, but
oh, we have to cut you off there, Josh. We have a caution on the track. Try to figure out where it is. It is the 71 of Craig Fryer.
And Gracias involved as well again. So from bad to worse for these two. As they continue to dust up, having their issues as well. Gracias and Fryer both on pit road. See if they elect to come back out on track after those incidents there. As a matter of fact, it looks like Gracias is calling it a night. Retired from the race, currently scored 16th. But back to you with Josh.
Yeah, Josh, as you were saying, just go ahead and walk us through what happened.
Yes, I'm not exactly sure 100% what happened in the accident, where it started at, but I was realizing there was an accident. I was getting hard on the brakes, and I think I just locked up the tires way too much that instead of slowing down, I was sliding, and I slid right into Tyler and hit him pretty hard. I didn't think that my night was going to end from there, but we had a lot of damage, and my truck on the next restart it did not go at all. I tried so hard, but the field was gone, and then leaders caught up to me pretty quickly, and I didn't want to ruin their night, so I just pulled it to the side. Cam is not here tonight, so I'm helping these guys admin a little bit. So we're here just watching the race from the sky and helping be an admin. But yeah, it's Bristol. A lot of tempers flaring and quite a few cautions so far already.
Well, and we hate to see it for you. It looks like you're going to finish up in the 18th position here tonight with that DNF. And looking forward to next week. What do you think you got for next week?
I don't even know what next week is, to be honest with you. But, you know, wherever it is, I'm just going to go out and have some fun. The game plan is always the same. That's just try to keep the nose clean. Go out there and get as many positions as we can. And hopefully get a PBR truck at victory lane.
And again, we hate to see it for you. Before we let you go, we'll let you give out your shout outs that you have to give here tonight.
Yeah, just a big shout out to you guys. Dawson, Adam, John, you guys do an incredible job every week here. JCTV would not be where it is at without the help of so many people. And I got to give a shout out to Juicy Spider as well. Those two guys have done an incredible job starting to put together graphics. I don't think are being shown tonight because I don't think Dawson has access to anything. And right now, mostly it's for NAOR, but I'm going to go ahead and stop talking because you guys got to restart the call.
So Josh will resume his adminning activities this time instead of back in the broadcast booth. The choose cone in effect, of course, as always. Jonathan Parker goes to the top, Michael Kruger to the bottom. Row 2, SPLD, Dalton Kelly and Brett Bennett. Interesting to see those two now up front and mixing it up for the race lead. So with the restart on lap 78, Parker going to get into the Geico restart zone, going to mash the gas pedal and launch ahead of Michael Kruger as the field goes back to green. You see Bennett will slot back up to the top lane, and now Dalton Kelly will try to work on Michael Kruger for second.
As they go into 3 and 4, Kruger's going to get to the bumper of Jonathan Parker. Mighty gave him a little shot there, trying to get him up out of the way. Kruger wants to get the lead here as we cross the line, lap 79. Kruger wants to go, and Jonathan Parker is in the way of Michael Kruger right now as he looks to the inside.
How about Nathan Fuller up there? Oh, spinning! Contact! Parker, Kelly's in it! Bennett's in it! Wright's going to be involved as well! Caution flag is going to fly, and more drama up in the front end of the field.
I don't know how Parker saved that truck from spinning out, but tons of trucks torn up, including his now, I'm sure of it. I saw that coming about a corner away. Kruger just drove it in there, not too hard, but just enough where it slipped a little bit. And we've seen this move time and time again here at Bristol with the trucks where they just go around and they go around fast. And Parker caught the wall and a lot of other trucks into him.
Another race where Jamie Wright, nowhere to go. So we'll ride on board with the number 45. See here, Kruger. Oh, almost like netcode contact between the two, and then just nowhere for Kelly to go. Swept up in another incident like so. And you see in the background there, you could see it. There's Alonso Chicano rolling away. He was on the brakes behind all this, able to miss it all.
Yeah, it does appear to be a little bit of net code. The stream itself from Dawson's End cannot see what I'm seeing, but I've got it pulled up for the guys here in the booth. You can see just there's maybe a couple inches. I think there would have been contact either way, but there was definitely room for both trucks there. And iRacing does what it does with net code and ends up causing a really big wreck here on the front straightaway.
Something about iRacing having it out for Dalton Kelly. But while we're under caution and we got nobody else talking, let's see if we can finally get a hold of our stage winner, Tristan Maher. Hey, Tristan Maher, this is Dawson out up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, guys.
Alrighty, well, we were trying to get a hold of you throughout this whole process, but a lot of other stuff has just been going and on. But finally, we have a chance to talk to you. Stage win tonight. You were out front dominant, but right now you're kind of mired back in traffic, currently 7th. What was your thoughts about that first stage and what you're going to have to do to get to the front again?
First stage felt great. It's pretty smooth sailing for me. I made a mistake at the end because I didn't realize that that was going to be the stage caution. So unfortunately, I stayed out, and that is what has mired me back in traffic. But I've kind of put myself on an alternate strategy here, so I guess I have a little bit fresher tires than everybody else around me. So hopefully we get a decent green flag run, and my strategy works out.
Well, alrighty. The last race you won the stage in, Charlotte Roval, you were able to win the race. Do you think you'll be able to do that again tonight?
Oh, I'm gonna do my best. I don't think I'm as competitive as I was at the Roval, but I'm definitely gonna try.
Alrighty, we'll get you back to it. Tristan Maher, your stage winner here tonight at Bristol.
Thanks, guys.
And with that, as we get the choose cone here, the 1 to green, we're going to quickly give a shout out to our title sponsor of tonight's race, Spoiler Diecast 200 here at Bristol. Spoiler Diecast, of course, stocks over 700 different diecasts at all times, and this is obviously coming from experience here. I use them a lot. Whenever there's anything I can't find anywhere else, they usually have it. Great business to work with. I've loved every interaction with them. They've always been very helpful with everything I've needed and more. But, you know, they've got NASCAR diecast. They've got F1 diecast. They've got apparel now as well. They've grown into this much bigger store than they were when I dealt with them at first. And it's so awesome to see them be able to grow and blossom. But as we go green here, JCTV10, 10% off your orders at SpoilerDiecast.com. Green flag is out. Michael Kruger leads the field. How about Nathan Fuller on the inside there? Josh Arnold as well is up in the mix. Daniel Saponsky, Zach Probst. A lot of these guys in the mix are not the ones we've seen up front as of late.
Riding out front
right
now
once again, contact Probst and Saponsky. And as both of them are able to maintain, Saponsky, of course, not the bigger loser of the two. That would be Probst. Looks like Alex Khirfan got the wall in the background. Tristan Maher now looks to work on the 51.
Diamond the corner there, great in turn 1 and 2 to get a great run off onto the backstretch. Dove it into turn 3, tried to wash up a little bit on that 51, but Saponsky was there, so he couldn't ride the corner like he wanted to. Now he's finally clear in turn 1, and here comes Zach Probst to fight that position.
Probst is probably not going to be happy with this 51. That was the second time they've had a run-in tonight, but right now, playing easy with him, staying, just trying to work on getting by him clean, is Zach Probst. Of course, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Zach Probst won the Dash for Cash last week at Chicagoland, which means he'll be one of 4 drivers that will do battle at Kansas for $100 as a bonus. So we'll see if he can't, who will join him tonight. As of right now, it looks like it's going to be a battle between Nathan Fuller, Josh Arnold, and Tristan Maher, as they are the top 3 non-playoff drivers. A lot of non-playoff drivers in the mix here.
A lot of non-playoff drivers in the mix, but one playoff driver certainly out front and in demand right now, but under some pressure is Michael Kruger. He's got Nathan Fuller right behind him, and right behind Nathan Fuller, Josh Arnold. And then right behind Josh Arnold now, Tristan Maher is making his case to get back up front into the lead here.
Well, the thing is that I'm noticing, Tristan Maher and Josh Arnold pit 18 laps ago. They are on 19 lap old tires compared to 45 for Fuller and Kruger. So possible that the difference in tires and pit stops could be playing a factor in watching these drivers make their way through the field and how we're seeing them maneuver. I see a battle happening for 8th. It's Jonathan Parker and Brian Smith a little bit further back. They were side by side. Parker looking to march back up to the front after his run-in with Michael Kruger. Of course, there's David Durand, who's outside very quietly out here in the top 10 right now. David Durand has been just out here running laps pretty much. Not been up front, but not been out back. So he's in a good position to get some good points today. But falling behind Jonathan Parker right now, just not going to be able to capitalize. The only one that's going to be able to really capitalize is going to be Michael Kruger.
And we've got a battle on for the second spot. Tristan Maher was able to get around Josh Arnold. Now he's going to try and get around Nathan Fuller. Oh, he almost comes up off corner exit there, but not able to make it stick. This time he should clear for the second spot. And indeed he does.
I'm seeing some drivers slow, but I didn't see a caution come out. I'm looking back to see. I don't know if they just got stacked up or what, but Kelly, Saponsky, and Chicano all were very slow that last lap. Not too sure what happened between them, but right now, Michael Kruger leads. Tristan Maher has now gotten to second by Nathan Fuller, looking to set his sights on the race lead once again. When we cross the stripe this time, it'll be 101 laps remaining in this race.
And something else I want to bring note to, you brought up Dawson when Tristan Maher and Josh Arnold pit. Just last night in the NAOR series, myself and Josh Coppernoll talked about what Josh Arnold has learned with this truck and tire saving. We've seen Tristan Maher make his way around him pretty easily. Josh Arnold not putting up a fight. We're seeing Josh Arnold go to school here and really continue to apply what he knows about tire saving, and he's not really pushing to pass anybody, but he is faster than some of the trucks in front of him in that Ford truck of Nathan Fuller.
Battle for the lead, heating up Michael Kruger, Tristan Maher. Now Maher looks to go. He's going to run the middle lane. Kruger is defending as hard as he can. Maher is trying to get this run and just shoot right by him, but just can't quite do it.
Kruger is currently what I would say mirror driving, trying to just take the line away and put as much dirty air on the nose of that 69 truck as he now gets a run to the inside of Michael Kruger and should have the spot here. And we'll see if Michael Kruger fights back. He does on the outside into 3 and 4 again. This time Tristan Maher is going to clear, and Tristan Maher to the lead.
Kruger trying to cross him over to the inside now. Goes the 14. He'll slide up the racetrack, but Maher will clear. And Tristan Maher is back out front here, back in control of this race. And your updates through the field, you see Craig Fryer, Jason Grossi's both out of the race. Josh Coppernoll unofficially is 18th right now. Justin Durand could go out and log some laps and get by him, but he's still getting service on pit road. But it's close to being at least done to where he can go back out with the engine damage being repaired, in case of timing. But something else I see right now, look who's coming into the picture now. Jonathan Parker now battling for 4th and 3rd between Fuller and Arnold.
Yeah, and Jonathan Parker really storming through this field and probably not making a lot of friends with some of the moves he's made. You see Josh Arnold almost peeking to the inside there. Thought about 3 wide on the front straightaway as we have a caution.
It looks like it's Chicano. Indeed it is. Alonso Chicano around, and that will bring out yet another caution.
And up to this point, he had been the lone chaser yet involved in an incident tonight, and it has just gone up there on the front straightaway.
See what happened with the 25 truck running that top lane. Already got some damage on the back end. Looks like it just steps out from underneath him. Around he slid, and somehow he kept it off that inside wall. So just a nice little slide, no big deal. As it sits right now, he has the least incident points of anybody on track. The most for anybody that was in this race. Jason Grossi has 14, and Craig Fryer had 12. Of course, both drivers retired from the race, so not like it's going to matter too much. The big thing is it stacks the field back up. And we'll have another set of pit stops for some of these drivers as they come down here. 110 laps complete. That means we are going to be sitting at about 90 laps to go this next time by. So under 90 laps to the end of this race.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting here to see what kind of strategy calls we get talking about pitting with 10 laps to go. But as we've seen so far, we haven't really had a super long green flag run yet. So if we have one of those late race green flag runs, do we see some drivers short pit here to make sure they're good to the end, or are they going to run all the way into 10 laps to go and then make the green flag pit stops?
That is to be seen. I mean, there's a possibility they just try to stretch it as far as they can. But something I want to point out, David Duran stayed out that time, and with him staying out, he'll lead a lap. So that is a bonus point for the 24 of David Durand. So he will have a chance, at least leading right now, to get some bonus points that other drivers really aren't able to get. So I would love to be able to pull up our points graphic and tell you it's updated and it's currently got everything for the stage points. I don't know the stage order yet. Still don't know the stage order. Still have yet to get any word about the stage order. So for that, right now, we're just kind of looking and seeing what we've seen out of these drivers. Parker's got a bonus point for leading a lap. Kruger's been leading some laps. David Duran now has led a lap. So we've got some playoff drivers making some moves to the field to get these laps led, to get these bonus points that they need. Another bonus point is for the fastest lap in the race, I do believe, which right now, if you had to take a crack at guessing who has the fastest lap on track, I don't think you'd be able to guess who it was. As they choose this time, Duran and Bennett go to the top, Parker and Kruger to the bottom.
Dawson, I'm going to kind of interrupt you here. We had our race leader just retire from the race. Not sure what happened, but Tristan Maher is retired.
Wow. Tristan Maher now out of the race. And that is a huge blow for a driver. He was doing so well there. Don't know what happened. Jonathan, you might have to go back and look and see if anything happened, any kind of extra damage or anything. Put him in a situation where he thought it wouldn't be any reason to continue.
I'm pulling back the replay right now. I seen him pull down pit road again. I'm going to go back and look. See
As you continue to look, field goes green. David Durant leads the field, but he is on older tires compared to Jonathan Parker and the rest of the field. We'll see how quickly he gets heat up. You see David Durant. Oh, Brett Bennett!
Brett is going to slide to the apron because of it. Kruger saves it.
Kruger's involved. Probst gets damaged, but an aggressive move by Brett Bennett leads him to have contact with Michael Kruger. Somehow they collect it without any further incident. Parker now takes the lead over David Durant. Nathan Fuller is in third, looking to make a move on the 24.
It was one of the most chaotic restarts I've seen into turn 3. I don't know how they all saved it. 3 or 4 trucks were completely sideways there going into the third turn.
Bennett came down almost like he didn't think Kruger was there. In contact with Probst, you see Khirfan able to make it through, but right now Bennett is 7th, Kruger is 6th, and Jonathan Parker leading the field now. Not what they wanted to see.
Yeah, that was a great job on Kruger to save that truck and not lose more spots than what they did. But like you mentioned, yeah, it looked like Bennett came down into him. He was reacting to David Durand in the wall, I presume, but yeah, chain reaction there. A lot going on at once.
As we sit right now, 12 drivers remain on the lead lap. Alonso Chicano is currently the 12th place position. Dalton Kelly is 11th, so it's starting to feel like Martinsville all over again with all this carnage and chaos. It's just a matter of who can survive the longest and make it to the end. Right now, David Durand is limping in third, but here comes Josh Arnold and Daniel Saponski going to look to make a battle with him.
Going back and looking at replay, guys, just an update on Tristan Maher. I wasn't able to find anything that would have caused him to retire, so we're going to assume it was a life incident or something like that that caused him to retire. I asked the team owner, Josh Coppernoll, but he also does not know why his driver retired here tonight.
Well, I would say Josh Coppernoll wouldn't be able to help because Josh Coppernoll does not. The team owner, he drives for Radius Racing with Cameron Caldwell and Alonso Chicano. It'd be hard pressed to see Michael Kruger, Daniel Saponsky, door to door here. This is a battle for 5th. Saponsky not giving an inch to the 14 here. But finally, Kruger is able to try to wrestle it away. Indeed, he does, and he will clear in front of the 51. David Duran running wide against the wall. Kruger going to have to back off to not get into him. And just like that, look who's back together again. It is Probst and it is Saponsky once again running next to each other here. These two are just stuck to each other. They cannot get away no matter what they do.
Yeah, and the 3 wide right now in the corner.
Oh, contact! David Duran! Daniel Saponsky!
And he's wrecked in the wall.
Saponsky around. Caution is out again. Oh, and piling in is Alonso Chicano. I'm at a loss for words on what we just saw. We're going to take it on board with Chicano. We're going to see if we can see what happens here. Oh.
He was blindsided there completely.
He was full throttle going to try to miss it. And Brett Bennett was there, and he had to miss Brett Bennett, and instead he hits Saponsky. All of my time that I've seen Chicano race, I don't think I've ever seen him try to gun it past a wreck until now. And of course, that doesn't pay off in the end here as he winds up now on pit road. Currently scored 11th place, 2 laps down. Daniel Saponsky as well, 2 laps down. That was... that sure was something.
Yeah, we saw that start to play out watching Saponsky and David Durand, and yeah, that was definitely not the way we thought that was going to happen. We've seen it all night where guys just keep piling into wrecks way after they happen, but that was definitely a unique circumstance there. And looking on that replay, Dawson, it looks like Chicano, he knows there's a crash in front of him. He just doesn't know where. And when he comes off that corner, Brett Bennett's right in the middle of the track, and he just kind of Chicano gets loose at a weird time and shoots down the track to miss it, like you said, and he's committed full throttle, and there's the 51, last place he probably expected him to be.
So I hope our sponsor is happy with this race so far. It's definitely been an event for sure. But I'll mention them again here while we're under a quick caution. Spoiler Diecast. A great company. Very, very, very fast shipping. JCTV10, 10% off your order. Be sure to use that code tonight. Get you some new diecast. Currently, what I'm looking at, Austin Cindric's E-Cascadia Freightliner, 2022 Next Gen 124. That's currently on my in my shopping cart right now. So I think after this race, I might pull the trigger. Jonathan Parker goes to the top. Michael Kruger to the bottom. Josh Arnold, Nathan Fuller making up row 2. So as the field gets ready to go green here, what is left of the field, I should say, we've got currently 8 cars on lead lap. Green flag is back out. Parker leading, Kruger second. We saw what happened last time these two were 1 and 2. And let's see if something like that happens again, because Kruger is definitely going to push hard to get to the inside of Parker. Indeed, he does. Right there, side by side, and Parker looks like he gets out of it to let Kruger have it. Kruger now takes the race lead from Parker.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that, Dawson. A long way to go, yeah, in this race. You still want the truck to survive and make it to the end so you can fight in the last 10, 15 laps for the win and have something to be there with. Here comes Nathan Fuller, though, put into that back bumper of the 81 truck.
Oh,
Parker's
spinning
gonna go
him!
high and he's going to get spun by him.
Parker in the wall again, the second time tonight he's been run over. And just like
it has
that,
certainly
no
been
caution.
eventful.
No
It's
caution
been an
this
eventful
time.
night for Parker for sure. Not sure how he's going to rebound this time. Maybe a little upset with how he's been raced here tonight. Not been shown a ton of respect from non-playoff drivers. And really, that just allows Michael Kruger to start stretching his lead out, but he's still under fire from Nathan Fuller.
Yeah, you would think Kruger would be able to drive away from that, but Fuller did not put his head down and gained on Kruger despite that incident with Parker in 2-1 a couple laps ago. And he was looking on the inside of Kruger a moment ago, and Kruger's trying to extend that gap a little bit, but Fuller, a little bit of better run off that fourth corner.
Right now, there have been 2 drivers to have 0 incident points and be clean this race. One of them was Tristan Maher, who has unfortunately disconnected for the night. The other one, as it stands right now, is Josh Arnold in 3rd, currently sitting at 0 incident points. And I hope to God this is not an announcer jinx, because he has been so clean running in the top 5 pretty much all race, it seems like. He has definitely been very, very rock solid tonight. Running here through the field, now currently in the 3rd position, just benefiting off of the big key point of tonight's race, survival. He has survived all the carnage. He's been able to miss it all. He's been able to just keep going, and right now, currently sitting 3rd, got a good shot to win it tonight.
Another driver who I would kind of highlight in that category of just hanging out, not really been incident-free, but certainly has been up here all night. The 62 is Zach Probst, as he's under fire from the 52 of Brian Smith, still up here running in like the top 5 as he's under fire now, and looks like he's maybe trying to let these guys by. He'll fall outside of the top 5, but solid race still for that 62 truck.
Yeah, front end damage. Definitely probably playing a factor in this decision. This 62 just probably is not able to run as well as it once was. Noticing here a battle for position as well in the background. Alex Khirfan just got by Brett Bennett. The key to this is a positional battle. Even though they're a lap down, it's also the lucky dog. So if we get a caution here and they're running the way they are, this sets up for Alex Khirfan to get back on the lead lap.
Yes, it does. And another key note, as you're talking about lucky dog spot, we only have 8 drivers on the lead lap currently.
No. Khirfan is pulling down to the apron. He's coming to a stop. Just as we mentioned it, Khirfan now on pit road, towing the truck. Is it possible he blew up?
Indeed, that is. I can confirm from driver radio, Dawson, the truck just blew up on Alex Khirfan as he made the pass for the lucky dog.
Wow, it's terrible timing. All night we have seen and heard drivers complain about the oil temps being really high, and with all the front-end damage on these trucks from the incidents, definitely not helping their case and making this much more of an endurance race right now. Seeing mechanical failures is one thing. We knew we were going to see a lot of incidents, but it's going to be a tall test for the rest of these guys to round out this race.
Well, as it sits right now, 8 trucks currently on the lead lap. I believe it's 10, maybe 11 that are on the track racing right now. Just a lot of chaos, a lot of just craziness. And again, though, it's all about surviving. Right now, we have 4 playoff drivers that are in the top 8 on the lead lap. We've only got the 4 that are on the lead lap on the racetrack. As we saw the issue with Khirfan, now currently scored 10th out of the race with a blown engine. He'll probably drop to 11th with Moreno continuing to turn laps. So we'll have to see on that. Chicano is 12th out of the race. We've got Justin Duran, is 19th. He's out of the race. Andrew Reliance, 20th. He's out of the race. So definitely a lot of craziness between the 2 drivers. So we'll have to see just who shakes out on top of all these playoff drivers.
Well, right now there's one who's making a severe advantage right now, and that's the 14, Michael Kruger, still out front, still holding off the 4-truck Nathan Fuller. Nathan Fuller's not far back, though. Michael Kruger just doing his best here to maintain the gap, not letting him get too close. But Nathan Fuller doing a good job to not let Michael Kruger run away here.
Yeah, Fuller is able to keep it with him. He's not really dropping off. As a matter of fact, he's been running consistent, if not faster lap times than our race leader. So he's right there with them, not letting Michael Kruger run away, but it might also be a factor of fresher tires. 24-lap-old tires on Fuller compared to 41 on Kruger. So possible that the tire wear is starting to play a little bit more of a factor than it was before. But that is still yet to be seen if that is the case. Somebody else I'm noticing too. How about a 4th place run right now for Brian Smith? I mentioned him at the top of the broadcast. Just kind of quietly, running up here. He had the dust up with Jason Gracias earlier on, but after that, pretty much been just going at it. He's got some front end damage, but it looks like it's been able to be managed. So he is currently rolling in that 4th position, a solid top 5 for that 52 truck. So definitely excited to see how he can finish out tonight's race. He's under fire, of course, from playoff driver David Durant.
Yeah, and David Duran looks like he wants to take the spot from Brian Smith. He's making the move down here into 3 and 4. And we'll see if he can get a run off here. He does not. Brian holds off on the run up top. But the big gain is the corner entry. He pulls up even, but just cannot get a run on the bottom right now. On the older tires, I think the top side has the advantage in terms of making a pass.
Yeah, it definitely does. You're seeing the top side is where the passes are being made. You see David's going to try to go back to the top, but Brian's going to block it. It's all a matter of what lane you choose. Right now, though, looking through this field, of course, Kruger leading the way. He has a win in his career. He has won races in his career, so it's not a case of he's never won before. I'm trying to get some updates on some more of the field to see where they have finished before. Nathan Fuller's best finish right now in his career is 7th, so he's got a really good shot at breaking that one for sure. Brian Smith's best finish is 5th, so right now currently contending for that one. And of course, Josh Arnold really hasn't ran many races, so his pool of starts is very minimal, but he is looking to improve on having another good race tonight. But that is still to be seen, obviously. I'm trying to look and see if I can find him so I can get an update on where his best finish is.
And we have a caution on the speedway.
It's Brian Smith.
As it looks like he had a brush up with David Durand. David Durand not lifting on corner exit. Brian Smith self-clearing himself. And just gets the boot from David Durand.
That's a hard hit, too. That really sucks to see. Brian having a great run, and Durand, of course, not going to give an inch. Shouldn't be expected to give an inch either, but I mean, look and see if we can see what happened with he and Brian Smith. We're going to go way back here. See if we can't get this located here really quick.
And while you find that, Dawson, I've caught up with Jamie Wright, who was involved in that incident early on, running in the top 5. Jamie, when you were involved in that big crash, what was your point of view from that?
I saw Johnny Parker get turned there, and I tried to get down to the inside as fast as possible, but of course, when I went down there, that's where the incident ended up. So I had some cars blocking me in from all sides, so I really had nowhere to go.
Well, before that, you were having a pretty great run again. A lot of laps turned tonight. What did you learn tonight before heading on to next week, and what can you take away from the last couple weeks?
That I shouldn't be so scared to run these races. I've been really nervous going into these. I'm like, gosh, am I going to do good? I don't want to wreck anybody. I don't want to cause any problems. But when I got into practice, I was doing pretty good there, and I was really shocked by how good I was running during the race. I felt like I could easily get a top 5 in this one. So I do expect to make some more starts here at the end of the season.
Well, if you do, we're looking forward to seeing what you can do next week at Miami.
Thank you, guys.
So
And that was Jamie Wright, once again involved in an incident early on tonight, Dawson.
yeah, it sucks too. He has had 2 very promising races taken away from him due to no fault of his own. So very promising, I will say. Jamie Wright has been. We saw him join in, I believe, at Atlanta. He came in for his first race, did a very good job, held his own. But of course, that's the Super Speedway race. You really can't judge off that. But then coming into Chicagoland and then coming in tonight, I mean, really was able to contend up front. Very clean, very consistent. Just no fault of his own. Nowhere to go pretty much last 2 weeks. So hope to see him keep coming back here. Hope he continues to race because he has definitely been phenomenal, and we're so glad to have him as part of our league. We see the choose happening this time. It looks like Michael Kruger to the top. Nathan Fuller to the bottom. Josh Arnold follows behind in third to the top. I see Jonathan Parker to the bottom. David Duran, Zach Probst, Dalton Kelly, and Brett Bennett. That's your top 8. That is your lead lap cars. Brian Smith is still on pit road in 9th. Ethan Fonseca Moreno is scored at 10th. Currently 8 laps down. 3 more laps and he will get up to 9th. So that 43, despite the issues very early on, has been resilient. And he has fought his way at least into a top 10 finishing position so long as he can hold it. Of course, hitting the ticker show button makes it go green too early. As they come to the Geico restart zone, Michael Kruger is going to launch, and the field is back underway here at Bristol. We'll see who can hang on and win this race, but right now it's looking pretty good for Michael Kruger.
Yeah, it is, because that inside lane did not get a good start at all. Nathan Fuller stacked up that bottom lane of Jonathan Parker behind him, able to get rolling in 1 and 2 as that Ford truck. It costed those guys behind him. He's able to take that second spot, though, from Josh Arnold.
And David Duran looking to make some progress through the field again. Dalton Kelly right there with him. They're going to look to see if they can make some advancements in the field and see if they can at least try to ease the pain as they sit behind Jonathan Parker. If they can try to get some points. See Kelly going to hit the wall that time there. They're definitely pushing for every position they can get. Every point matters here. As Jonathan Parker, currently the points leader, runs 4th ahead of him. Ooh, and Parker squirrely ahead of him.
And it's impressive, too. Seeing that 81 truck in 4th place, how many incidents have we seen him in tonight? Still able to grind it out, stay on the lead lap, even with all the incidents he's been in. And really still looking like a fast truck on track if he could just get around the guys in front of him.
He's been very fortunate not to sustain heavy damage in all the incidents he's been in. But you're right, John. He has been caught up in quite a bit of stuff tonight. But up to 4th place, we know he's a very fast driver, a very fast truck tonight. So he's going to try and make the most of it tonight, and that's bad news for the chase competition, of course.
Currently monitoring the fastest lap times. Your fastest lap has finally changed hands. Originally, for the longest time, it was Craig Fryer. The 14.965, that lap time has now been bested by a couple of drivers, but right now the fastest driver on track, the fastest lap on track, Jonathan Parker, 14.919. Blazing fast lap by Jonathan Parker. That puts him with an extra point in his pocket if he can hang on to it. As we approach 25 laps to go this next time by, Michael Kruger, he's slowly slipping as you see Nathan Fuller's pulling back into the picture.
And back in the back of the field, Brett Bennett had an incident. The leaders should be catching up to him by now, but Brett Bennett had a major incident with no caution, spun all the way around, and no caution there.
25 laps to go. It's going to be very important for Michael Kruger, especially with only 9 cars on track. I mean, you've got 9 cars racing right now. He is just begging and praying for this to go caution-free so he can try to stay ahead of Nathan Fuller and just maintain and get this race win and just get it over with.
One thing he's going to have to keep in mind is that what John just mentioned is going to be Brett Bennett ahead of him on hot tires, probably a little bit upset with his incident that just happened. So it's going to be something Kruger has to keep in mind. If he does catch that 47, still straight away behind, that he's going to have to keep it calm, even though he knows he's got Nathan Fuller and Josh Arnold right behind him, just a second between those top 3.
right now it looks like the top 4 are really spread out, probably running about even lap times. Not sure who the fastest is of the top 4 right now as I look through lap times.
You
They're
say
all
that,
in the
yeah.
15.2s.
I was getting ready to say 15.246, 15.245, 15.248. It was that close between the top 3 that last lap. This time by a 2.53 for Kruger, a 2.94 for Fuller, and a 2.55 for Arnold. So Arnold is maintaining with Kruger, and Fuller's just slipping a little bit further back here, but we'll have to keep watching to see. Fuller needs to try to start pulling him back in now as we're under 20 laps to go if he wants a shot at winning this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's go time, Dawson. The laps tick off really fast here at Bristol. 20 to go. You need to be up on the wheel and trying to find something that lead driver hasn't found yet in terms of speed.
See Fuller maintaining about a half a second distance, and that's about all he's at. Nothing really gaining or losing. It's just been about the same. And that's not what Fuller wants to see. That's absolutely what Kruger wants to see. He wants to see that number stay consistent. He doesn't want to see it dropping. He wants to see it stay there or even grow for that matter. But right now, maintaining the race lead, just running that bottom line as much as he can. Fuller is just doing everything in his power to try to catch him. But we'll cross the stripe this time. It will be 15 laps to go when they hit it. So can Kruger hold on and maintain? Can Fuller or Arnold mount a comeback and go for the race win here? We'll have to see. Or the other question, too, will we see another caution?
Well, and talking about Fuller needing to try and do something to change the gap, I haven't seen his line change very much, and now it looks like he's starting to roll in the top a little bit. I'd like to see him move up a little higher, be right on the edge of those marbles. I've raced here at Bristol. If you can get the top rolling at Bristol, it can absolutely help him close that gap. But it takes a couple laps to get the momentum going up top, and he's under pressure from Josh Arnold right now.
And he's running out of time, too, with it being just 13 laps to go and now battling with a third-place truck. It's really kind of just fading away. Now a second is the gap. You see Arnold going to go to the top lane. Fuller tried to defend it. Couldn't quite defend it. Going to pull up in top and defend. Here comes Arnold to the bottom. Now Arnold's going to go for second place. Side by side they are. And Michael Kruger is loving every bit of it. As long as they don't wreck Kruger's, like they can stay side by side for this entire rest of this race for all he cares.
Yeah, these two were pulling on that that 4th place truck of Jonathan Parker, but that's going to allow the 81 to maybe close in on this fight for second. Arnold with a huge run on that inside lane through 3 and 4. Looks like he has the advantage, but we'll see what is going to happen here between he and Nathan Fuller. This is a battle for the Dash for Cash bonus, guys. $15 at stake and an advancement into the Kansas race.
And that'll be the big one, too. I mean, you know, winning this Dash for Cash for them, it gives them an extra reason to race here, and it gives them an extra reason to race at Kansas to go for that $100 bonus. It's a huge pot to go for, and they absolutely want to go for it. And you see there now Arnold's going to clear and see if he can set sail and at least try to see if he can make a miracle happen. If Kruger makes any mistakes, Arnold can try to close in, but right now it looks like just only slightly faster is that 26. It's not going to be enough with there only being 7 laps to go this next time by. Arnold would have to substantially gain on Michael Kruger here, and he's just not substantially gaining. He's chipping away at it, but it's not huge swings.
Yeah, we're talking hundredths of a second. He's starting to put the laps together now, though, that he's in clean air. Right there, he jumps up into a 5 to Kruger's 7. That's 2/10 right there, but it might not be enough.
It's under a second, but it's just too late for this comeback to be mounted without a caution. You know, that's what Arnold needs. He needs a caution, or he needs Kruger to make a mistake. And that's all he needs. And right now, a battle for position, and it looks like he might have had an issue. There it is! A caution's going to fly, and Zach Probst issues with David Duran, and just like that, all this conversation about Kruger locking it up, wiped out, erased. We are going to overtime. And oh my goodness. You cannot blame that on anybody. Just horrible netcode. But then Dalton Kelly at the end right there. Just nothing he could do. Man, oh man, was that some netcode or what?
Yes, it was. There was about almost 2 feet between those cars right there before contact was made. And it still was just enough to get Probst around. I guess iRacing said that Probst is not making it around this corner
Oh, you can
anymore.
see right there. There is a huge gap between the two trucks there. So how there was a caution, I don't know. And you can see there as well what hit Kelly. Probst started to roll as well. So that's where Kelly got his contact. But just like that, I mean, that's all it takes. One incident, and now this race has been turned right back on its head.
Yeah, and Bristol, we're going to have a GWC here to see who wins this race. As we see, it looks like Nathan Fuller is going to come down pit road. Not a bad call here if they crash in front of him, and he's going to be the guy with the fresh stuff. Not enough cars on track for him to really worry about losing too many positions either.
Yeah, I like this gamble. I mean, drops back at farthest, I think, to 6th place. Brett Bennett is 5th. David Duran 4th. Jonathan Parker is 3rd. Josh Arnold is 2nd. So Arnold right now currently sits as the Dash for Cash winner, but he's got Brett Bennett behind him in 5th that has a shot to swing at it. But how about this as well? Michael Kruger, chase driver, is leading the race, was pretty much looking forward to a win. I believe he might have the most laps led locked up, so that's at least another bonus point for him. Jonathan Parker, David Durand, they're still right here in the mix for this win. So this race is nowhere near over. While Kruger's truck is clean, it doesn't mean anything. You get Parker or Durand behind him, and they go for this win. I mean, this is huge because they could easily try to ship it in on him and send it in for a win, and it could wind up being none of them winning, or it could wind up being Kruger still coming away with the win, or even Parker or Durand walking off with this win tonight. So still a lot up in the air here, even with it only being a 2-lap shootout.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting here. Like we mentioned, keep an eye out on Nathan Fuller. He was on fresh tires on an earlier restart and sliced through the field, who were on a little bit older tires compared to him. It wasn't a much deficit then, excuse me. But he's going to be able to make much of it now because these are much older tires on the 14 truck, on the 26 truck compared to what it was then. And Nathan Fuller, if he has an opportunity to choose the right lane here, it's going to be very exciting to watch on this restart.
Fuller goes the bottom behind Bennett and Parker, Kruger, Arnold, Durand, the top lane. After the choose, it will be overtime here on JCTV for the InThePitsNews Truck Series for race number 2 of the chase. It comes down to this. We were talking last week about a late race caution that didn't come. The fuel strategy played out, and we saw Alex Khirfan walk away with the win. He struck first, but now Michael Kruger and Jonathan Parker, front row, 1-2, look to see if they can strike next while the iron's hot and make the move here for the second race in the chase. Kruger will be the control car. Parker second as they launch the Geico restart zone. The green flag is out, and you see a huge launch by Kruger as he's able to get out in front and clear for the race lead.
And don't look now, but Jonathan Parker's on the bottom for second, and Josh Arnold trying to hold him at bay. Nathan Fuller is right there, too. We just seen him hit pit road. He's got the freshest tires on track right now, and he's looking inside of Jonathan Parker, almost 3 wide there.
Contact was made. White flag is out.
Contact.
And around goes Parker. Parker spins in the background, but up front, Arnold's going to send it in deep. It's not going to be enough, though. Through 3 and 4, Michael Kruger's going to take the checkered flag. And Jonathan Parker winds up wrecked. Brett Bennett wrecked as well. And from what could have been a second at best is now going to be 7th. The worst case scenario for Parker there. Going to drop a lot of spots and a lot of points. And just like that, that's how things shake up. But Michael Kruger.
It's going to be a big win for this 14 truck, but that incident in turn 2, I saw that coming the way they were racing down that front stretch. A lot of trucks out of control off of turn 4, heading into turn 1, and it got very crazy there. I think Jonathan Parker took a very big wreck, but it's all the 14 truck dominant there in that last half to get this victory and excelled there on that restart.
He mentioned earlier today, running his alma mater, Western Carolina University. He was going to run that tonight. And looks like he might have to bring that back for the next couple weeks because it proves a good luck charm. Gets him in victory lane for the 5th time in his career, and I believe that would be the 4th time on the season. Or the 3rd time on the season, excuse me. As he was the winner at Watkins Glen and Nashville earlier on, he went back-to-back, and now he pulls it off here tonight for his 3rd win of Season 3. It was hectic, it was chaotic, and in the end, it's still a championship driver walking away with the race win. So we'll take you to the results page here. This is unofficial. Of course, everything will be determined later on once we get a hold of everything to see what's going on. Let me get that little bugger out of there. All right. Michael Kruger comes away with the race win. A very, very good performance by Josh Arnold, but he comes up just short. If he had maybe 2 more laps there, he would have had a shot at the win. You see Dalton Kelly somehow sneaks his way into a 3rd place finish. Zach Probst comes away 4th, and Nathan Fuller running out your top 5. David Duran 6th, so a good run tonight for him to get some points. Jonathan Parker was 7th. Brett Bennett 8th, Ethan Fonseca Moreno 9th, and Brian Smith rounding out your top 10. There you see the rest of the field, pretty much all the casualties. Everybody else here wrecked out at some point. Alex Khirfan, Alonso Chicano, there's Daniel Saponsky, Tristan Maher, Jamie Wright, Craig Fryer, Jason Gracias, Josh Coppernoll, Andrew Elias, Justin Duran, and of course at the end of the field, Tyler Watermullen, as always, back out in the back. And so with that, we'll go down to Jonathan Canfield. I believe you've caught up with our 3rd place finisher, Dalton Kelly.
Indeed, I have. Dalton, do you have a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you're able to bring it home 3rd here tonight. Certainly an eventful race. We've seen you had an eventful race. Go ahead, walk us through how the racing was for you here tonight.
Yeah, for the first, I'd say upwards of 70, 80 laps. It was a really great race, and then it pretty much just went skyrocketing downhill from there. And there's Wrigley stat sheet truck, but now this is not a 3rd place truck. But same time, 8 trucks on lead lap tells you a lot about the race. Yes, it's just a preview of Martinsville at this point, but just grateful to be able to come out here and put on a show.
And you speak about Martinsville, but I believe next week we go to Homestead. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But what do you think you got for next week, and what are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to Homestead. Be a nice, unique track compared to all the other cookie cutters we run nearly 10 times a season. I like it. It's a fun track. It shouldn't be a demo derby, but with how the playoffs can go, you never know. Just got to be there at the end, and we were tonight.
Absolutely. And doing what you had to do there, got through the race. How about we let you give some shout outs that you got to give to anybody who helped you out here tonight?
Obviously, the Strictly Stat Sheet, Circle B Diecast, everyone on the team, especially Daddy Dawson.
All right, and I think that's going to do it from our 3rd place driver here tonight, Dalton Kelly, bringing it home in 3rd place at Bristol.
And with that, I believe Adam has caught up with our 2nd place finisher and our Dash for Cash winner, Josh Arnold. Adam?
Yeah, Dash for Cash winner Josh. What was that? Last week felt like racing a couple guys there for the not only the win but the Dash for Cash.
Hey Adam, thank you for broadcasting tonight. No, I'm just excited to be. This is my first booth appearance, in the Saturday Night League. So just really excited to be here talking to you. I tried to stay behind the leader there because I timed it perfectly the last time. And then this time, the 2nd time, I thought as soon as I see a flicker, I'm going to go again. And sure enough, I just thought it would have a better chance. That inside you've seen gets kind of bogged down on the restart. So I was like, that's my chance to at least stay there on Michael's bumper to, try to get to the last lap. Because, that's what some of Bristol is all about. I kept the truck clean. No incidents whatsoever tonight. Just really tried to make it to the last lap and have a shot. And I came up just a tenth or two short.
Yeah, you mentioned the zero incidents. I wanted to speak to that. No incident points at all, and we saw tons of crashes tonight, bunch of cautions. What was that like from your point of view with all the trucks getting involved in something, and how you were able to keep that truck clean and make it to the end?
Well, I'm pretty sure on your JCTV replays that you saw my truck in some very close quarters with like the 71. I think, uh, I mean, he blew up. I heard him blow up out my left window when he was out inside of me. And then there was a few other incidents that were right there beside me or something I missed. I ended up missing Michael Kruger, and saved him. I went way low down there to try to get past him on that one kind of big one. But then the front stretch, when it just like the seas parted, I come around there and there's Jonathan sideways, looking like a mellow yellow can, because I was real thirsty at that point too. So, but then I ended up missing him, and just, I mean, Bristol, you've got to make it past halfway. And you saw halfway there was only just like a few cautions left because less drivers, less, crinkled trucks on the racetrack. But then it kind of settled down, and that's when you go out and try to win it. And that's what we tried to do.
Well, not only did you finish second tonight, you came away with the Dash for Cash bonus, so you're now eligible for the big prize at Kansas in a couple weeks. What do you have to look forward for that, and your expectations on competing for that prize?
Like Kansas, I can't remember. I think we have one more track left. But I'm excited. I really excited to not make any enemies. I'm still technically new here. I want to just get through this season without any contact, without anything, racing people clean, which what I tried to do tonight. And then, just look forward towards next season. That's what's on my mind, really. Dash for Cash is good. I think, thanks Cam, but I'm looking towards getting started next season and being able to get and have fun like some of these playoff drivers are doing right now.
Well, congrats again on the good run tonight, and we're gonna keep an eye out for you in 3 weeks' time, I believe, in Kansas, and competing for that Dash for Cash bonus.
I appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to the militia and all the Friday night racers that might have tuned in and watched, and then Cam for the ITPN Truck Series. I'm having real fun over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Joshua.
Thanks, Adam.
And now I believe Dawson is in victory lane with tonight's winner.
Indeed, I am. Celebration all around. Able to hold off. Had a little bit of a scare there with that late caution, but Michael Kruger puts it in victory lane. 5th career win, 3rd on the season. Mikey, first off, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dawson. Thank you.
Well, let's go through that race. It was definitely one of attrition. We saw early on in the race, there was a bit of contact between yourself and Jonathan Parker, causing an incident there. But you were able to recover from that, and you kept it clean pretty much the entire rest of the race. So what was it like seeing everybody else pretty much just collapse around you or have issues as you continued on to the front?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, I'm sorry, or I've already apologized, but I'll do it again. I'm sorry for like what happened with me and Jonathan there, where we got together and he spun off of four when we were side by side. I'm sorry for that, but like he kind of went over a little bit like, or like a little bit ago, like to not feel as bad about it because it was in that code. But yeah, just on the topic, with all the playoff drivers, or most of them falling into like getting caught in incidents and stuff, it was just, really honestly, it was just a race of surviving, and just being just staying out of trouble. And when people kept falling, it just kept the opportunity to capitalize on it kept increasing. And when more and more got into trouble, it was just to me and Jonathan. It was just a huge opportunity to make a huge leap in points, and I was somehow able to capitalize even after the late restart, and with all the drama and everything.
Yeah, indeed. It was a lot of chaos. But with the end of it, I believe unofficially, let me double check my math here. Unofficially, you come out of this race on the positive, 10 points down to Jonathan Parker. Of course, I say unofficially because last week's points were wrong. This week's points likely wrong as well, but I was off by maybe about 1 point or two. But right now, 10 points down on Jonathan Parker. So a good swing and a good gain. You led the most laps tonight. You got stage points where Parker did as well. It was very close to the two people. Also, at the end of it there, with Parker wrecking, finishing 7th, that was your big swing to the front. So now you've got Homestead, you've got Martinsville, and you've got Kansas ahead of you. Do you feel like this is where the momentum builds to go back and make a run at this championship?
I mean, it definitely could be. I mean, like just with this huge swing with everything that happened tonight. I mean, the possibility is not dead yet. I mean, I thought honestly like after last week Chicagoland when I just had like a mid race and like fifth or something and got like not as much state points and Jonathan got like second or something. I forgot where he finished. And he finished second behind Alex. I really thought like it's gonna be taking a long shot to get back, and tonight I just got the race I really needed it to get back here. I mean, it wasn't pretty at all. I mean, with like how chaotic it was, but nonetheless we still gained some ground on him. I mean, it's not gonna be easy picking up 10 from him. He's been the fastest guy all year, and everyone in this league knows it, and it's gonna be really hard to beat him here in these next 3 races.
Well, alrighty, you've got 3 races left, of course, but we celebrate tonight. Anybody want to shout out sponsors, teammates? What got that number 14 truck in victory lane tonight?
Just gotta thank Josh for having me a part of PBR. Really exciting to get back into victory lane here. It's been a while. I'm really happy to get back into victory lane. I want to thank him, the teammates, Scott, Wesley, Caleb, Josh Arnold, and those guys for being my teammates. Really just appreciative to be around a group of bunch like those guys. Really fun to race with them and compete and do that. I really love it. Wins like these that come by this week make you feel really good and like really like excited and happy to be in this league, a part of this league, to be racing with these good group of guys. Really they're really good racers and tough to beat every week.
Well, alrighty, that is your race winner, Michael Kruger. He joins an illustrious group with Cameron Caldwell and Alonzo Chicano now in the 5 Wins Club. Congratulations again, Mikey.
Thank you so much, Dawson.
And of course, as mentioned, 5 wins on his career thus far, third of the season. Puts him in illustrious company now with Cameron Caldwell and Alonzo Chicano, the 2 champions of the league. Before Cameron Caldwell, season 1, Alonzo Chicano in season 2. So could that bode well for Michael Kruger to win season 3? That we'll have to see. But speaking of his competition, let's take a look back and see what happened to Jonathan Parker. Now we're going to go back to this entirety of this final restart here and show you the conclusion of this race again, the final 2 laps that pretty much ended this race here. So this was on the restart. Parker was not able to get a good launch, and he wound up being side by side with Brent Bennett, with Josh Arnold, I should say, on this first lap. And he was side by side with him pretty much the entirety of this overtime period. And right here, Nathan Fuller gets into the picture on those fresh tires, tries to make a move on the bottom, ends up pinching down. Gets pinched down by Parker, so right here, Fuller tries to go to the outside, gives him a bump, and around goes Parker. Just no chance at recovering. Bennett gets involved as well, and Parker was able to fire it back up and get it back going. You see Bennett trying to go in reverse. It just wasn't going to work for him, and Parker goes from what would have been at least a top 5, if not a top 3, to finishing tonight's race in the 7th position. So that's a big gain for Michael Kruger, as we mentioned, with that caution, with that incident. That very much helps Michael Kruger. We saw a crazy race, and like we said at the start of the broadcast, it wasn't going to be about skill. It was about survival, and in the end, it wound up being Michael Kruger that was able to survive the best, I should say. John, Adam, what was your takeaways from that race?
Well, it was way more dramatic than what we had envisioned. Probably, I knew there was going to be a little bit of stress going into the race with incidents happening and people getting stacked up and not having enough time to react. But wow, did that ever happen? A lot more incidents than we pictured. But like Michael said in his interview, and we said all night, it really was a survival race. Get to the end and just endure, and that's what he did the best. In terms of being the fastest at the same time with the trucks left on the track. So he did a phenomenal job all night long, especially that last half, just to be up in the mix and stay up there.
Yeah, I agree completely with what Adam said. Very crazy race here tonight. Really, we didn't see a whole lot of long green flag runs. So, I mean, pit strategy wasn't really an issue for these guys. It was really an issue of just who avoids the wrecks and who stays incident free. And we've seen our P2 finisher, Josh Arnold, actually be the only truck in the field that I've seen have a 0X next to his name at the end of the night. So, credit goes out to him. He had no contact with anybody tonight. But we've seen plenty of drivers have plenty of different issues. A lot of playoff drivers here tonight are going to be hurting after this race. And I think the big advantage goes to Michael Kruger going into the next race with what he was able to gain by finishing and winning the race.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some of these drivers are coming out on the positive side. I shouldn't say some of them. Only one of them really is, and that's Michael Kruger. He comes out gaining on the points leader. Everybody else, however, they dropped. Some dropped a lot more than others. We did not see Matthew Stotts or Ryan Bogey show up tonight, which was big because those two not showing up puts them pretty much on the brink of being out entirely. Matthew Stotts unofficially is down 96 points to the race, to the championship leader, Jonathan Parker. Ryan Bogey right now sits 88 points back. And then, of course, the two bad races from Andrew Elias unofficially puts him back 72. A deep, deep hole that would take pretty much a miracle to dig out of for Elias. But never say never, I guess, is the way to put it. But at this point, with how far back he is, with 3 races to go, I don't anticipate this being the miracle that he really needs to see here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall task for a lot of those guys, Dawson, to make up that fight in the points. Some of them completely out of it, but long way to go. We still got 3 races, and like we saw in the last lap tonight, anything could happen to any one of our chasers, really. And a huge swing of the points can really occur no matter where we are at. Tonight showed that, and long way to go in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, still a lot of racing left to see. So we've got plenty of action to come next week. John, what do you say you highlight on what we've got going on here this upcoming week?
Oh, coming up this week in our JCTV schedule, Tuesday night, we've got the iRacing Funny 250 at Daytona. I myself will be competing in that. I'm not sure who is going to be broadcasting that other than the for certain of Dawson Allen and Joshua Coppernoll. But I will be starting shotgun in the field Tuesday night for the iRacing Funny 250 with the Slide Job Racing League, so y'all can look forward to that. And then next Friday night, NAOR. I'm not sure where they're heading with their schedule. Let me just pull that up if I can. They, I believe, will be heading to. Crap, I can't even find it. So yeah, NAOR Friday night, and then we'll be back here
It'll
Saturday
be
night.
Martinsville.
Martinsville. Thank you,
I just
Adam. You
found it,
saved
yep.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Adam saves me there. It is Martinsville for Friday night with the NAOR series, and then we'll be back here next week with the ITPN in the Pit News Truck Series again for another great race. Hopefully better than what we had tonight. Hard to top what we had, but hopefully we get a little bit more of a cleaner race at Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit more sane than what we saw this week with the craziness of a short track. So definitely looking forward to seeing how that one can pan out here as we look forward to next week. So really quickly, very, very quickly, I should say, working to get you at least a visual cue to see what the point standings look like. If we can get this up on the broadcast booth. Of course, I'm working in real time to get you our unofficial graphic results. I am not very fast. Numbers are very, very, very complicated for me. Not being able to
Wow.
read them properly because I have a very special thing that they call, what do they call that? Dyslexia? Yeah, dyslexia. I can't read numbers at all. It's awful. But we do everything we can to get you what you need to see at the end of these races. So really quick, we'll get it thrown up on this broadcast before we go off for tonight. And I believe that is our updated broadcast graphic. Indeed, it is. There we go. Ba-boom, kaboom, and there you have it. There are your unofficial results at the conclusion of this race. It only took me like 10 hours to get it done, but that's okay. So you see your point standings right now. Jonathan Parker is your points leader, not at 2,076 points. He is at 2,100 and I believe 13. See what I said about numbers. But the numbers elsewhere are correct. Michael Kruger is currently down 10 points. Alex Khirfan down 35. Dalton Kelly down 39, jumps up to 4th in the standings. David and Justin Duran have swapped places. Now David is on top. He is 40 points back to Justin's 43. Alonso Chicano now down 49 points. But there you see Andrew Elias, Ryan Bogey, and Matthew Stotts well back beyond our points leader. So that'll do it for tonight's coverage of the In the Pits News Truck Series, the Spoiler Diecast 200. Once again, shout out Spoiler Diecast for the sponsorship for tonight's race. We hope you enjoyed it. JCTV 10% off your order at SpoilerDiecast.com. For everybody here on JCTV, want to wish you a happy rest of your night, a great rest of your week. We'll see you again Tuesday night for the iRacing Not Funny 250. We'll see you on Friday night for NAOR, and then we'll see you next Saturday as we head to Homestead for round number 3 of the chase. For Jonathan Canfield, Adam Kuhn, and Josh Coppernoll, this is Dawson Allen signing off, saying so long, and have a great rest of your night.